How to get better sleep. So I'm going to give you my top tips that really transformed my life in terms of my sleep quality, and my energy during the day. And this is also going to help you build muscle better. It's going to help you drop body fat more effectively. It's going to help you manage your cravings and your hunger. So let's get going. Number one is cut caffeine at least 6 hours before bed, okay? This isn't just coffee, but also any other caffeinated drink such as tea or Coke. When you talk about liquids, another thing is just making sure that you really reduce your liquid intake at least 2 hours before bed. Why? Because this is going to prevent you from getting up in the middle of the night having to go pee. Most of you guys can probably relate. When that becomes a habit, every night you find yourself waking up at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. having to go to the toilet. Even if you don't have to pee, you can't just wake up at the time because your body clock's used to it. So don't create that habit, or just break that habit right now by really kind of managing your liquid intake before bed. Number two is nutrition, okay? So there's actually specific food groups that are going to help you get into a better sleep, and that is your healthy fats. Why? Healthy fats are slower digesting, which means that you're going to feel fuller during the night, and you're less likely going to wake up with hunger pains or just feel hungry, and that's going to obviously disrupt your sleep. Great healthy fat sources are, for example, dark chocolate, nut butters, nuts, even yogurt before bed. That's also really great because it has a great protein source as well there. So plenty of things that you can add as a little snack before bed. Next is your environment. Make sure your room is actually dark, okay? And if it's not, make sure you change your curtains, do something so that your environment is pitch black. That's again really going to enable you to get into that deep sleep state. Now, if you need to wear a sleep mask, do that, but make sure that you really set up your environment to be the best for sleep. And now this brings me on to my next point, which is your room temperature, okay? So your environment's not just how bright or dark your room is, but also how it feels, the temperature. Now, we sleep best at around 16 to 19 degrees Celsius. So if you can either adjust your room using AC to get to that point, or just to make sure you have a fan or something, that's really going to enable you and your body to get into a better sleep state. Now, another thing is don't go to bed until you actually need to go to sleep. What I mean by this is how many of you guys kind of just sit in bed scrolling on your phone, and what happens is your room just becomes really like stuffy and hot, and because of that it's actually harder to get to sleep. So stay outside of your room, go to the lounge or something, go on the couch, read your books here or journal here, do your nighttime routine here, and then go to your room. And so that way it feels crisp, it feels fresh, you get under your sheets and it just feels nice, your bed's nicely made. That makes a big difference to how you're going to feel, how rested you're going to feel in bed. Next is your electronic devices. I say this so often to my clients, and I know it's one of the hardest things to do, but turn them off at least an hour before bed. If you can, make sure you turn on night mode at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. This is when your screen pretty much just dims and essentially enables you to, again, really get yourself ready to go to sleep, right? You're not staring at a bright screen. You're not being bombarded with notifications. So-and-so broke up with her boyfriend. You're not being bombarded with all those notifications. You're really winding down, okay? And what you can do on your phone is you can actually set a consistent routine with it. So you can set up night mode to turn on every night, say like 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. depending on when you sleep. And that way you don't have to think about it, it kind of just happens, and again it naturally just gets you ready for bed. Now the next tip, which also builds on from this, is actually just switch off your devices, like turn on airplane mode or do not disturb at least an hour before bed, and just do something else. Like do not go on your devices, okay? That's also a TV. Like just don't have any of those devices around you distracting you, and there's so many things that you can do without your device. In fact, I think it's so important that we have this like accountable time to actually not be on our devices, because when you think about your day-to-day, you are constantly staring at a screen. People are drawing energy from you through the screens, right? So it's so important that you give yourself some time back to read, to journal, listen to an audiobook, clean your house maybe, pack your bag for the next day, just really get yourself ready for the next day, get you mentally feeling good. And I think that's so important, right? For your productivity and your energy and how well you're rested the next day. The next tip is your alarm waking sound, okay? So how many of you guys have had a good night's sleep, but in the morning you're just like, oh my gosh, you're in the stress state, you feel groggy and disrupted because your alarm is probably the most triggering sound ever. I used to have one of those that literally just went beep, 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 and it was so loud, it was right next to my bed, and I woke up and I'd be like, oh my God. Change your alarm sound to something more peaceful. Right now I have birds chirping, and also leave your phone out of your room, okay? I have my phone charging outside in the lounge. That way it actually makes you get out of bed to turn it off, which essentially wakes you up, and it prevents you from just snoozing the alarm and then sleeping in. But it also just makes sure that you're waking up with a more relaxed sound in a more relaxed state. Who doesn't want to wake up to birds chirping versus versus a high-pitched scream, right? So change your alarm. Next is make sure you're sleeping and waking up at a regular time because your body gets used to it, right? It's in a regular rhythm. And even on the weekends, try to keep that to like plus or minus 1 hour. Just because it's the weekends, don't try to like stay up 2, 3, 4 hours later and then just kind of binge Netflix and then wake up like 4 hours later, because that is going to make it that much harder on Monday when you're trying to get up for work and you're trying to go to bed on time on Sunday and your body's just like all out of sync, okay? So make sure you stick to a regular sleep and wake schedule. That's also going to do so much for your energy, your recovery, your rest. And as I said, you're going to be able to build muscle so much better if you can recover better, which means you need to be rested and sleeping well. Same thing with your appetite and your hormones actually. So your appetite and your hunger levels are actually going to be very much influenced by how well you sleep. If you have a poor night's sleep, your hunger hormones are actually going to be spiked, and during the day, you're more likely going to want to eat more, you're going to want to indulge more, you're probably going to have more cravings for sugar and all of that, just to kind of bring back that kind of temporary energy. So really make sure you're really prioritizing your sleep schedule. Finally, bonus tip, if you guys haven't actually subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe, because I know that a good 50% of you are not subscribed and watching. And the tips that are going to come in the next videos, you don't want to miss it, especially if you're on your fitness journey at the moment, you're just trying to get started, you're finding motivation, you want no BS tips, like actual truth. Make sure you're following me, okay? So you don't miss out and you don't do anything stupid on the internet. But the bonus tip is supplements. So magnesium and ashwagandha are amazing for relaxing you and calming you down. And again, that's really going to help you with your sleep. It's not something that I would say is like a miracle kind of supplement, because you still need good sleep hygiene. But if you have really good sleep hygiene and you're just looking for that extra little boost, magnesium and ashwagandha, I take that every night before bed, and honestly I get such an amazing night's sleep. It's not something that I have to take because I have a really good routine already and sleep hygiene, but it really does make a big difference across time, where I'm finding that, you know, I am much more rested. Even from a recovery standpoint, if you resistance train, magnesium is amazing for muscle soreness. So all that really does come hand in hand. And so if you are really looking to smash your fitness goals this year, building muscle, dropping body fat, toning up, and just feeling really great inside and out in terms of energy, productivity, alertness, sleep is going to be a make or break for that. So I hope that these tips helped. Let me know what was the most helpful tip in the comment below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.